Welcome, Colts fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for this sad Colts report coming off the first loss of the season, a game that the Colts gave away. And we're here to get second thoughts after our immediate reactions after the game. My immediate reaction, by the way, I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and my immediate reaction after the game was, it was a game they gave away, but also a game that I didn't expect them to be in, and they were, despite all of the mistakes. Going back and looking at the film, I'm, let's say, much less happy with the performance. And Let's start with you, Will. Your second thoughts on the Colts' loss to the Rams on Sunday.
I think after watching the tape again, I just don't think they were the better team. I think the Rams were just the better team on this week at this time. That's not to say that the Colts aren't a playoff team. The Colts aren't going to be a super competitive football team, but I think you did see the class difference. The Rams are a elite team, and they are contending for a Super Bowl, and I don't think the Colts are there. I think the Colts are a good playoff team, a comfortable playoff team, but I don't think that they're competing to be in that final four, let's say, in the NFC, AFC championship.
Yeah, if we thought they were before, Sam, probably, particularly the front seven of the defense, it just has a long way to go.
And that was the first time this year where the Colts really just kind of made a lot of self-inflicted mistakes throughout the course of the game. And we don't have to go at it ad nauseum, but we just know that the Colts at times can compete with the best teams out there. But we've got to play much cleaner football beginning this week when we take on the Raiders at home for the 1 o'clock kickoff.
I was surprised that they were in the game against the Rams. I was happy that they were in the game with all the mistakes that they made, and they were still in it at the end of the game. Those are ones you kind of wish you could win, and that's what good teams do. They do win those, but they're not going to go 17-0. I wasn't expecting that before they played the Rams. But I think that they're still in a good position, and I think they can have I think the big test is this week is how do they respond to that loss, and they should beat the Raiders pretty handedly, and that's what's key. Can you come off a loss like that, a close loss that you were in the game, you could have possibly won, been 4-0, and come and beat the Raiders like you should. Raiders are on the schedule. That's one team you looked at probably beginning of the season, and we were going to be competitive or win. So hopefully, they win.
You don't like to lose, but the Colts, they probably needed that game because they'd been playing so well that maybe some little mistakes they didn't really see or realize they needed to clean up. I think it was an eye-opener a little bit to them that they still have some work to do, and it is easier to win at home sometimes than it is on the road in a long road trip. The good news for the Colts is that I guess it's good. It's kind of bittersweet. They don't have to worry about what they're going to do with Howard since he announced he was retiring today. So
yep, some actual news today. Thanks, Michelle, for that segue. The Xavier Howard has retired, and we all saw why the last couple of weeks. Very good career. I don't want to disparage his career. He was, I believe, made 4 straight Pro Bowls and was 2-time All-Pro. Nice player, was not good for the Colts. The other thing is Shane Steichen came out today and said he is not sure whether A.D. Mitchell will be part of the 53-man roster.
Yes, he did say yesterday that in his press conference, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, that they had a good conversation, but that he told Mitchell that he was going to have to earn it.
Probably the right approach, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely.
I know. I don't think so, but maybe he's still your 4th most talented receiver.
I rewatched the game, and I'm not disappointed with him dropping the ball at the goal line. I am disappointed with him lack of effort on a ball that got intercepted and then didn't even try to run down the guy who intercepted the pass. His effort was pretty pitiful. Maybe this will be a moment for him because we wouldn't even be talking about him today if he hadn't made an incredible move to get to the goal line and on an incredibly athletic play. So there is promise there with him. I think they've seen inside the locker room that they're not getting everything from him.
Well, then I think trade him because then change the scenery. The second that you start sitting and you got second round picks that aren't making the 53-man roster on Sunday, trade the guy because he's got no future with your team. You've made that abundantly clear. I just don't think it's the right move because I think it gets him mentally checked out. He made a mistake.
Well, if he gets mentally checked out, then trade him. But if he responds to it, then maybe you've got something.
That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen like that.
Yeah,
I don't.
Will, you're still, even if you're in the pros, there's still discipline and there's still consequences and focus, and because you're still part of a team, and talent does not dictate necessarily what you play if you're not doing all the other things that are going to make the team successful.
And one of the most blatant holds you'll ever see, and it just was a really bad performance from a guy they're counting on.
It sounds like to me, he looks like he's ridden his talent. He now needs to learn that when you're in the NFL, almost everyone's talented. You have to have a work ethic on and off the field to be really good.
All I'm saying is show me a good receiver that didn't make a 53-man roster every single game he played in that he was healthy. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So trade him and get whatever you can. And it was a bad draft pick, and there should have been more done with his character flaws that are obvious. I don't think of the pity patter of, he's going to be inactive this week and then he's going to come back and play well. It just doesn't happen. His career's probably over. And
all he said is he's going to have to earn it this week at practice. That's all he said.
That's all he said, and there's nothing wrong with that. He should have earned it.
But if he was playing for the Jets, he'd been cut.
And maybe he will be traded. I saw the Bengals, as they're sliding, that they think that they're going to really look to move Trey Hendrickson. So maybe that does happen. But you still want him to earn it. You want him to show a little bit more than what he's shown so you can to improve his trade worth if you don't think he's going to be.
I don't know what the return. The thing with Hendrickson is what's the cost would be my, and I don't think A.D. Mitchell, that's not probably a fit where he's a viable candidate with Cincinnati's wide receiver room being what it is. But I hope that A.D. Mitchell does earn it. I think that, like you said, Greg, you saw the talent. But I just think once we get to this point where we're benching guys, it's probably time to just move on because clearly something's not working the way it should.
But you couldn't keep him in the way he just wasn't responding to the mistake. He needs to bounce back. He needs to put that play behind him, and he needs to move on to the next play. And if he would have moved on to the next play, he wouldn't have held, and we would have had another touchdown. And if he's gonna let that one play continue to hinder his performance in the future, and every time he has a mistake like that, if that's what you're going to get out of it, that's where he's got to learn right now. And I think that's what Steichen's trying to do.
If he doesn't respond well to this, then he's not worth having around. And the truth is, they've got 5 good receivers. Doolin is a pretty good number 5, and it's actually a position of strength. Of course, they don't have a number 1, as we've discussed. Michael Pittman's a high-end 2 or a low-end 1. But other than that, they got 4 really good targets, and not to mention Tyler Warren, guys. That guy can do everything. We got the makings of something special in that guy.
Yeah.
He can even be your running back if you need him to.
Fullback, running back.
Yeah.
Slot receiver.
I think to challenge the argument about the number 1 receiver, I think Tyler Warren's your number 1 receiver. I think he takes 2 to cover. That's what a number 1 receiver would do. That's what a Jamar Chase and a Justin Jefferson would do. Maybe he is your one. It seems different that it comes from the tight end position, but you saw it work with Rob Gronkowski in New England, an offense flowing through a tight end. You've seen it obviously with the Chiefs. You saw it with Tony Gonzalez and both of the teams he played for in his career. George Kittle, it can absolutely happen. It can work that way.
And here's something that I don't think people have ever really seen the correlation, but good tight ends almost always win. You never see a great tight end on bad teams. They really missed Matt Gonsalves, but Will, you said you thought that the offense was bad, or the offensive line got beat pretty bad. That's a really good defensive line, and I thought they performed admirably. They weren't great, but something's wrong with Bernard Ryman, or he's just not very good.
Yeah, well, I think that there is probably some truth to both of that. Something's not right. As I said, he's faced some tough edge rushers too. It's been a gauntlet, really. on the outside for him every week. I didn't think that the offensive line performed great. I thought there were a lot of messy pockets, similar to that Denver game. I think that maybe the sacks didn't show, but Daniel Jones was not kept clean most of the game. And I think that probably affected some of the throws, especially that throw to Pittman in the fourth quarter on that final drive. I understand that you're down 7, you're just trying to make something happen, but the blocking affecting him not being able to properly step into that ball, and he leaves it just a yard short, and that's the difference. So I think it's an adjustment. You did see Gonzalez, that was a big loss, but overall I thought Nelson played subpar. I thought Bortolini, he got massacred by Jared Verse a couple times, and
Bortolini struggles in pass blocking for sure.
But as I preface, this Rams team, they might be my Super Bowl pick in the NFC just based on they're so good.
But that's the difference right there.
Quite a great wide receiver tandem.
Oh man, are those receivers good? Holy cow! And it's not
and
just
they're
those
running
two
back.
either. Yeah, that block Kyron Williams of kind of told you everything you needed to know about both of those guys. I don't know if you guys saw the Kyron Williams out of the backfield pancake block Latu. Latu and Kwity Paye are just not.
Look terrible.
There were a lot of guys, Sam, number 90s, making tackles 15 yards downfield, and that front seven just isn't good enough, especially against a team like that.
Too many holds, just too many mistakes. But that's the difference between the Colts and the top teams in the NFL is when you got top defensive linemen like the Rams do, and we have holes in our offensive line at times that I think Gonzalez and sometimes Quentin Nelson kind of Band-Aid, if you would, of the offensive line. I think it just shows you the Colts have a lot of work that needs to be done, and we need to make moves if we're going to do anything beyond the fact we might win the AFC South. And so far, we've been very fortunate. We're talking like the Colts are in this disastrous game, but really, let's be honest, the Colts were literally 2 or 3 plays away from going 4-0. That's the crazy thing about it. We made so many mistakes, and yet we were within that game throughout the course of the ball game. So there are opportunities to learn, but there are also opportunities to feel proud about going into the game against Las Vegas. But at the end of the day, this is up to the Colts front office to make the necessary moves. I think getting rid of Xavier Howard was a good start. I think giving Adonai Mitchell some accountability is a start. But I think from there, the Colts really need to start putting in the necessary pieces on both ends of the field to put the best roster possible. And we definitely need help on defense because that makes our offense better when our defense complements our offensive line as well.
We're missing our best defensive player for
Eddie Moore. Yes.
Yeah. And one of our best receivers on offense. And you all are saying that the Rams are, that good and Super Bowl contenders. I mean, to be in that game like they were with all the mistakes they made, tells me that, that's a pretty good test for the Colts to, I think the AFC South is definitely I think it's attainable for us to take.
Like Sam said and Mike said, I think the Colts passed the test as far as the eyeball. Is this a good football team?
Yeah.
My issue is that they've played 2, what I would consider good to top 12 quarterbacks in Bo Nix and Matthew Stafford so far, and they've kind of got diced up both times. And I don't think it's a secondary's fault. I think it's just they just don't get enough pressure. And when Bo Nix threw that interception there in that game late, that fluttered on him a little bit. It did look like the ball potentially got tipped. But Bo Nix diced the Colts up there largely for the entire game and up until that moment. And Matthew Stafford looked phenomenal. He looked phenomenal. So that's concerning. I think good quarterbacks have the potential to make this Colts defense kind of exploitable a little bit just because the front 4 isn't necessarily getting home.
I got to tell you, Buckner and Stewart are supposed to be the strength of that defense, and they just got blocked 10 yards down the field It was Kyron Williams had all the room he wanted right up the middle, and I just don't think they're very good anymore either.
That could be a problem this weekend with the Raiders and Giante because he is a strong back, and he he's getting better every week for a rookie. Oh, now I guess the good news is the Raiders just don't have an elite quarterback.
And
but
I think
they have a really good tight end in Brock Bowers, right?
Yes.
So that
can I say, guys,
But
I'm glad they didn't. I'm so glad they got Tyler Ward.
I think they have the better tight end. I think they have the
Yeah.
better tight end. I really do, because
Yeah.
Brock Bowers never has his hand in the dirt ever. He is basically used as an outside receiver. And Michelle, what I'm going to tell you, don't sleep on Geno, because Geno could go out and dice the Colts up to
I'm concerned about
300.
Geno.
Oh no, he can't. I'm just
No
saying he's
question.
Yeah. That team has looked really bad. They've looked cohesion. It looks like Pete Carroll's lost most of the time right now, and I'm not sure if they're any good, which reiterates how big the next 2 weeks are.
Like you all said, that I think the defensive line is they're going to get hit in the mouth this weekend, and I think Genty's going to probably run all over them. Hopefully, that's not enough for the Raiders to beat us. But I think, overall, I think the Colts are going to rebound. I think they'll be fine. Hopefully, Alex Pierce is going to play this weekend. We're still going to be down Kenny Moore, but looking forward to it. Hopefully, we're 4-1 and talking about that after the game on Sunday.
Before we go, let's all make our predictions and storylines for Colts and Raiders. Let's start with you, Will.
My hot take is that Genty will not be very successful against this Colts team. Prior to last week, he had 148 yards after contact, and he had 146 total rushing yards, meaning he has more rushing yards after he gets hit behind the line of scrimmage than he does total yards. Lou exploits that, and I think the Colts take care of business here. They've done a good job of handily beating bad teams. I expect to win by 2 scores.
I think the Colts offense waits up. They clean up the turnovers this time around. I think their offensive line gets better. I think Danny Dimes gets back to what he looked like the first 3 weeks of the season. I think the Colts win by 2 scores.
I think the offense will look better. I think the defense will look better. They're going to be at home. I think that's a big key. I look for the Colts to win, and I think it could be by 2 touchdowns too. But there is that chance that the Raiders could break something, because I will say this. Yeah, Lou has done a nice job with that defense, but they're still missing some pieces. And the more film you put out there, but these great coaches are going to figure out the weak points. And I'm more worried about the Colts defense, especially with no Kenny Moore in the secondary. I know they got rid of Howard.
They did sign Mike Hilton last week, and that will help a lot.
Okay, well, yes. I think my concern is more on the defensive side than the offensive side, because I think Daniel Jones plays so well when he doesn't have to feel the pressure that he's got to score because the defense can't stop anybody.
I agree. Defense could be an issue.
A lot of it to me has to do with whether Kenny Moore plays, and that is very unlikely. Achilles, we're not going to see him for a little while. And Matt Gonzalez, guys, 2 pressures on 103 passing attempts by Daniel Jones with Gonzalez in front of him. That's a big deal. His backup last week did not perform as well. That'll be a big deal. Plus, they should be able to run on these Raiders. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to be – I'm really concerned about Geno Smith in this offense. And
I will say one thing I forgot to say. What the Colts have, we all talk about the offense, but the Colts do have Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor probably is a difference maker in this game.
I'm going to take the Colts, but I am concerned about this being a bit of a letdown. I'm concerned that the Raiders are a lot better than they've shown, and at some point they might show it, and it might be this week. But I'm going to take the Colts by 5 points. I'm going to say it's going to be 26-21.
This is one of those games that the Colts have to come out and punch them in the mouth quick. If you let them hang around, I think it's going to be a nail biter. I think if you come out and you put 14 up quickly in the first quarter, force Geno to throw some picks, he'll give the ball up. He always has. That's where I think that they will do that. I just think the offense will be more efficient this week.
Did you make a score prediction, Mike?
I'll say 30-24 Colts.
Ooh, high scoring game. I think it'll be a lot lower scoring. I think the Colts are going to control the line of scrimmage on offense. I think the Raiders are going to control the line of scrimmage. When they're on offense, there's going to be a lot of running the ball, and there's going to be limited possessions. Colts win a close one.
It's an opportunity for the Colts to get players step up. We had a tough game last week. Got a little taste of defeat. Now let's see how the Colts can respond through defeats.
And let's hope Mike Hilton's not washed up too.
I don't think he is.
But we're not sure yet.
He looked like a gamer last week. But that could be rose-colored lenses too.
They have some injuries still in that defensive backfield that when they get it healthy, I think that's going to be I like what I see from Bynum. I think this could be a very good defensive backfield, and they tackle, and they're fast. And that's why I don't think that Genty will have as much success as he had last week. I think it's hard to get big chunk gains down the field against the Colts running because the defensive backs tackle so well. You can't, however, push the front seven around. So we'll see. It should be very interesting.
Any chance we could put Mooney Ward on their best receiver? Just like, is that?
It's a good idea.
I know it makes too much damn sense, but maybe potentially could we just cover Trey Tucker and
put 11 men on the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure you have 11.
We're going to cut the coaching staff some slack because they've had their team prepared to play 4 weeks in a row. But it's not been good in crunch time for the Colts coaching staff.
Especially coming out of a change of possession, too. That's what makes it
There should also be
worse.
no confusion with your team, and that's on the coaching. So
after a TV timeout, you can't have 10 on the field. Just can't happen.
Guys still encouraged about the Colts?
Optimistic.
I'm probably more optimistic than I was at the start of the season just because the Texans haven't looked as good as I thought they would. I thought the Titans would be a little bit more competitive.
Jacksonville might be the best team in the division, but it looks like a 10-7 Colts team to me, guys.
I think it's a playoff team. Maybe wild card, but I think that they're a good football team.
And of course, Jacksonville is capable of giving it away. So,
the classic Duval. Just classic. They'll piss it away. They might be the number 1 seed at some point, and then they'll just completely collapse.
That's right,
and not even make the playoffs.
They're the Illinois football of the NFL. They're just impossible to take seriously. From their uniforms to their history, just impossible to take seriously.
That defense is gritty, though.
I know.
A lot of sandpaper on that defense
too, man. They are scary.
It gives me PTSD from that Saxonville year they had that they almost went to the Super Bowl. Their only problem is they just can't catch the damn ball. I've never seen receivers that just try not to catch the ball like they do. It baffles me.
Oh, Sam's gone. It's a good time to hit end. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, y'all have a good night.
Good night. Thanks.
Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.